I didn't hear the insult echo. I felt it settle. "You're outdated. We're done here," the CEO hissed across the table, his smile thin, rehearsed, confident. I nodded. Understood. That was the moment the retirement trust activated its voting rights. I didn't smile. I didn't warn anyone. I just stood, buttoned my coat, and left the room like a man who had already buried everyone inside it. By Monday morning, the board convened an emergency meeting. The first question wasn't why I was fired. It was, who just fired the person who owns 76% of the shares? That question would follow me years later, in a different house, in a different betrayal, when I learned the same lesson again. People mistake silence for weakness. They mistake patience for ignorance. They mistake love for blindness, and they always regret it. The birthday party ended at 9:43 p.m. I remember the time because my son fell asleep on my shoulder while the candles were still smoking. He smelled like sugar and frosting. His small hand curled into my collarbone like it belonged there. My mother-in-law hugged me too tightly. Her perfume lingered too long. "Such a good boy," she said, stroking his hair. I watched her hand. I always did. Love makes you observant. Fear makes you precise. We said our goodbyes, smiles, photos, laughter that felt borrowed. I buckled my son into the car, drove 2 blocks, and realized my jacket wasn't with me. The jacket mattered. Inside the pocket was a flash drive. Inside the flash drive were documents I hadn't shown anyone yet. I turned back. The house was quiet when I returned. Lights dimmed, music off, party ghosts still clinging to the walls. I stepped into the kitchen, already reaching for the counter where I'd left the jacket. That's when the housekeeper grabbed my arm. Her grip was firm, urgent, not angry, terrified. "Promise me you won't scream," she whispered in my ear. Her breath shook. Her eyes were wet. "I'll show you what your mother-in-law did to your son today." The world narrowed. I didn't scream, I tell myself even now. I didn't make a sound. I didn't pull away. I just nodded. She unlocked her phone. I watched the video once, then again, then a third time, slower, like my mind was trying to reject it. My mother-in-law's voice was calm, practiced, almost gentle. My son's face was confused, his small body stiff. Nothing graphic, nothing loud. That's what made it worse. It was discipline disguised as care, control disguised as tradition, a boundary crossed so quietly it could have lived forever in denial. The housekeeper stopped the video. "I didn't know how to tell you," she whispered. "I've been watching her for months." Months. That word split something open in me. I took the phone, copied the file, deleted nothing, returned it. Then I walked upstairs. I didn't confront anyone. I didn't pack bags dramatically. I didn't announce betrayal. I lifted my son from the guest bed. He stirred, murmured my name, buried his face in my chest. "I've got you," I whispered. I walked out of that house like a man leaving a burning building before the flames were visible. We left town before sunrise. People think revenge is loud. It isn't. Revenge is paperwork. Revenge is timestamps. Revenge is patience sharpened into a blade. I didn't call my wife's family. I didn't post anything. I didn't cry in front of anyone. I documented. I hired a lawyer in a city where no one knew my last name. I requested medical evaluations. I asked the housekeeper to write a statement. She did. 3 pages, shaking handwriting, dates circled in red. I checked financial records, trusts, wills, powers of attorney. That's when I saw the pattern. Control wasn't new to her. It was institutional. She controlled money. She controlled access. She controlled silence. And she underestimated me the same way that CEO had, because I was polite, because I listened, because I never raised my voice. I built companies without shouting. I dismantled one the same way. I waited. The police called on a Thursday. "Sir, we need to ask you a few questions regarding a report filed by your mother-in-law." I almost laughed. She reported me. parental kidnapping, emotional instability, fabricated concern. I said nothing over the phone except, "I'll cooperate fully." Then I sent my lawyer everything: videos, medical reports, financial leverage, the retirement trust she didn't know I'd inherited through my late father, the same trust that once ended a CEO's career in 48 hours. By the time the police arrived, the story had already shifted. By the time she sat across from an investigator, the room had changed temperature. Truth does that. She cried, she denied, she invoked culture, tradition, love. None of it survived evidence. The housekeeper testified. The pediatric specialist testified. The timestamps testified. The police never came back for me. They went back for her. The confrontation didn't happen in a courtroom. It happened in a living room with perfect furniture and imperfect lies. She looked smaller without authority, older without control. "You ruined this family," she said. I didn't raise my voice. "No," I replied. "You assumed ownership where you had permission." Her mouth opened, closed. I stood. "You touched what wasn't yours," I said, "and you thought silence meant safety." I leaned closer. "You were wrong." The fallout was surgical. Restraining orders, supervised contact revoked, assets frozen pending investigation, social standing evaporated quietly like smoke through open windows. My wife didn't speak to her mother again. She didn't need to. Some betrayals don't require forgiveness, they require distance. Years later, my son sleeps without fear. He laughs easily. He trusts my silence because he's seen what it protects. And sometimes, when I think back to that boardroom, to that kitchen, to that whisper, "Promise me you won't scream," I understand something I didn't before. Power isn't in the outburst, it's in the moment you decide to wait. Because when the truth finally stands up, it doesn't need your voice. It already owns the room.